Hi everyone, we're going to open AutoCAD up here and we're going to take a tour of the actual program. So this is my AutoCAD shortcut. This is the 2018 version. Um, I specifically use 2018 for a specific reason, and that's why I haven't upgraded, but 2019, 2020, 2021 is perfectly acceptable, whichever you guys want to use. So I'm going to click on it and it's going to start loading here, the program. And I know you guys are going to say, well, my version of AutoCAD doesn't look like your version. And, I use this not only for class, but I also use this professionally. So there's all this stuff over here is specific that I developed along with this stuff over here on the left-hand side. But we're going to get into what all these components are of AutoCAD and dive into this a little more. And so over here, you're going to see that main thing right here is this is the paper space of if you were just drawing on a regular piece of paper, this is what you see. So you can have different paper sizes, 8.5 by 11, 24 by 32, 30 by 42, a whole bunch of different paper sizes. And how you switch between paper, and then there's this area called model space. And I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, sorry, because my screen recorder's down there and I don't want to cut that off. So bring this. Then switching between paper space and model space. So now I'm in model space. This is kind of like, this is your main work area and kind of reminds me of Google Earth. And then this is what we actually then produce and send out. So this is like a window right here. This window is called a viewport. And then we see a portion of the model space below. So you can see this layers. If I move the window, this is looking through a window into model space, which is seeing this right here. So now I'm going to start up here. So this is called the ribbon tab. And there's, this is in a different order, again, than what your default AutoCAD has. But these are basically different commands that they've put a GUI or graphical user interface to. So, for example, this break is the same as typing BR, which is for that command. And so we have a whole bunch of different tools here. And then there's a myriad of other different functions that are on each one of these tabs. And then I actually have a couple other tabs that you guys won't have. Now under here, these are many of the different options. So you can, under the A, you have the new files, opening a file if you wanted to, save as, import if you wanted to import a PDF into it, export it into PDF or any of these other file types, publishing. So this is where you can send all your files, package them up, and send them to your client or to a consultant. If you wanted to print it, drawing utilities. So this is important. This is where we set the units in the drawing. If we have a problem with the drawing, we can audit it. We can purge stuff out. We can do a recovery. And then also in here, these are your most recent recent DWG files in here. And then we also have options. So options is just specific. There's a lot of things in here that you can customize for your liking once you get really in depth into it. Selecting if you have a printer that you want it to specifically print to, and how you want your drafting to look, change colors. There's a whole bunch of different things in here. These are quick links up here. You might not have as many. You can add more here, but I can quickly save as, go back, go forward, print preview, open. And then where is it? This is my tool palette. So this is customized different blocks for my specific company, what we use, and it's just speeds up design. So if I want to turn it on and off under the View tab, I can click Tool Palettes, and it comes up and it goes away. And then back to View. Properties. I use properties a lot. I love the properties panes. It tells me a great deal. So also under View, you can go to properties and turn that on. Yours might be floating around as such. You can just grab the side here, and then when you bring it to where you want it to lock in, you drop it, and then it anchors itself. I like to keep it on the right hand side, but that's a personal preference. You can move it away. And so this tells you a lot about what you're drawing. And so as we move through learning how to draw, you'll see that it tells you about what layer it's on, the color, X, Y, and Z coordinates, and so on and so forth. Now down here at the bottom is the very important command line. So as I talked about earlier, AutoCAD is natively a command-based system, kind of like back in the day Windows DOS, where you didn't have a graphical user interface. You typed everything, and so it's the same thing. They've added buttons for graphical user interfaces. But whatever you do here, if I wanted to draw a polyline, type PL, and then to finish the command, I hit Enter or Spacebar. Either one is the same. So if you hear me say Enter, or if I say Spacebar, I usually say Enter. You can use either Spacebar or Enter. Even though I call it Enter, I always use my left thumb, and my left thumb is what actually will hit the Enter key or the Spacebar key to enter the command. So now I've started what my command is, and then I move through the command to complete the tasks. So you can see all the different commands that I've done when I scroll through it. It's almost a history. And then if I ever wanted to clear a command, what I just did there, exit the command, is escape key will exit the command. So Enter or Spacebar completes or moves you through the command, and escape exits you from the command. You can see as soon as I hit escape, it hits cancel. So if you get yourself into a position in the command that you get lost or such, and you want to stop what you're doing, just hit escape, and it will get you out of whatever you were doing. So let's see. Now up here is going to be your drawings. So right here, because I opened AutoCAD, it names your first one drawing 1. It's not saved at the moment. So if I wanted to, I can click save. It's going to ask me, so I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to name it Port 106. And it's a DWG, and see, this is where it tells you the file type. So these are all the old versions of the file type. I want to just leave it in my current file type, and I'm going to click save. And you're going to see up here that now it changed to Hort 106. Now let's say I want to open another file. I can just double click it in File Explorer. And now they're very similar because I just saved it before. But so now these are two separate drawings. So you can see, let's say I take everything off here. It's just a white sheet. So here's the first drawing file that I worked in, and here's my second drawing file. And I can have multiple drawing files in here. You know, I can just, the plus is adding a new blank file drawing. Or let's say I was recently working on this one. So here I'm in paper space. When we have multiple sheets, here's a file. So my first sheet is here. And you can see this is a big project. So it starts here in the upper left-hand corner. And then it breaks it down. Now on this middle sheet. And you can see that now it's looking through the window to model space. And this is this portion of the project, so it fits on the page. And then sheet 3 is in the right-hand corner. And so this is a way that we can design the project, do it all as one in model space, but then break it up into individual sheets that are workable for the contractor to read. So we have all these different sheets. And then when we're in model space, you can see it's one big project. So in here, this is all 1-to-1 scale. So 1 foot equals 1 foot in real life. 2 feet equals 2 feet. 10 feet equals 10 feet. 1,000 feet equals 1,000 feet. And the advantage to that is we can actually draw to scale. So we know we don't have to do any math adjustments in our head. We don't have to use a scale bar to do design. We can literally, if I want to draw a 50-foot circle here, that's a 50-foot circle. But then when I'm here, 50 feet would not fit on this page if it was 1-to-1. So now we have a scale bar in this project. This is 1 inch on the paper equals 30 feet. So this window here would be, if I drew a line here for 1 inch, and then there's this cool tool. So I push it through. And let's see here. That when I'm in it, now that line that was 1 inch is now 30 feet. And that's what the scale bar does. So the advantage too here is now I've done this all 1-to-1, but if I wanted to have this be a different scale, I wouldn't have to redraw everything. I could come here and if I unlock the viewport, I can re-window it and I can rescale it to whatever I want it to be. And I'm not redrawing the whole drawing if I did it by hand. And that way too, on a project, if you needed certain areas don't need as much detail,